Our Computex 2018 coverage is provided by Epic Gear, Gale, Kudo Technologies, and powered by the Acer Nitro 5. Visit the links down below to find out more.
What's up guys, Tarvin here from KLGadgetTV, and we are here at the ASUS ZenBook Pro launch, and right here is the ZenBook Pro. Now, first off, as you know, with most ZenBooks, they are pretty elegant, pretty nice, and it's no difference with the Pro because the Pro looks really good with a nice metal body. Now, on the sides here, we have USB port, a micro SD port, and a headphone jack. And over on the other side, we have a HDMI port, another USB, and a USB Type-C. So guys, this is what is interesting about the new ZenBook. Now, instead of going with what Mac did with the touch bar, they went on and created a screen on the touchpad. Now, this screen is pretty interesting because you can do multiple things with the screen. For example, they have 4 modes that you can do with this, that you can change the screen. So the first mode is basically a screen pad mode. So if you see over here, you can basically set up apps or shortcut apps onto the touchpad. So all these apps can also be customized. So if you were to use Microsoft or maybe Chrome more than usual, so you can set it up at the top. And all you need to do is just tap on it and it'll immediately launch the app that you have selected. So for example, if you were to go over to YouTube, now rather than going up to the YouTube interface and let's say pausing the video, or maybe you want to increase the volume, everything can be done on the touchpad itself. So for example, if I want to, let's say, pause a video, all I need to do is just tap on the pause button and it will pause the button. Of course, volume control, and also you can go full screen if you want to. So that might be a little simple and quite pretty straightforward. But what is even more interesting is that it does not only work with YouTube, because ASUS and Microsoft has worked together on this touchpad. So now, when you go over to PowerPoint, you can actually have a little bit of functions over here. Now, these functions are basically what you have in the top menu of PowerPoint, but rather than going up to the top menu and finding where these options are, you can actually just use the functions here. Now, don't worry, even though the functions buttons are over here, the bottom area over here is still a touchpad. So you can easily just navigate what you need to do, make it bigger, and then from there, if you need to change the text, all you need to do is just highlight the text, and maybe I want to change the color of the text, I can do it right here. And there are many other things also that you can do. Now, the beautiful part about this toolbar here is that it can be customized. So for those of you that perhaps do a lot of presentation and you have a lot of text and you have pictures that you want to put in the text, so you can actually customize the menu at the top there to maybe focus more on text manipulation or image manipulation. So for those of you that want other things like to change over to zooming in and other functionalities, then you can do that as well. So it's a very nice versatile way to interact with the Microsoft Office applications. Now, moving over to the next function that we have here. Now, this is the extension display. Now, similar to how most of you have dual monitor setups, this is what is happening here as well. The touchpad is still a touchpad, but now it is a second monitor to the main laptop screen. So for those of you that, let's say, you are trying to refer to a note, for example, all you need to do is basically the same way that you were to drag an application from one monitor to the next monitor. This is the same thing you need to do. But instead of dragging it to the left or right, because the screen is at the bottom, you just drag it to the bottom, and that's where the application will appear. Now again, as I mentioned before, do not worry because the touchpad is still active and you can actually still interact with the application on this smaller screen. It might be a little bit hard for those of you that do not have very good eyesight, but nevertheless, for those of you that want to watch a video perhaps, or just put up your notes over here while you read and maybe you type over there, I think this is a beautiful function. Now, I did find that it's a bit hard for you to interact with this area, but most of you that have dual monitors would know the Windows Shift and left and right button. So you can use that in here, and all you need to do is basically just use the same function and you can move the window from the bottom screen up to the top screen. The next thing with the touchpad is, of course, we have the traditional touchpad. Now, the traditional touchpad is perhaps a good way for those of you that want to save battery. Basically what it does is it just offs the screen and it acts as a normal touchpad. So you still have your gestures, your 2 points to open up the right click and your left click, and of course you're dragging it around. And finally, the last function is for you to just completely disable the touchpad. For those of you that just don't want to use any of these functions, you just still want to use a mouse and keyboard, then you can easily just disable the touchpad. So now that we know what the touchpad and all the functionalities that you can do with the touchpad, let's talk a little bit about the specs. So this laptop comes with an 8th gen Intel Core i5 or i7 processor and a GTX 1050 with a Max-Q design. That's how you can put a 1050 inside a laptop that is this thin. So other than that, it also comes with up to 16 GB of RAM and up to 1 TB of storage. So there's definitely an option for every one of you that you need something, you need more storage, you can get the more storage one. You need more power, then you get the i7 with the higher RAM model. So other than the ZenBook Pro that we saw before, which was the 14-inch ZenBook Pro, there is actually a 15-inch ZenBook Pro, which is far more powerful, because this ZenBook Pro comes with a Core i9 processor, an 8th generation Core i9 processor, and a GeForce GTX 1050 Ti graphics card. Now, it is not a Max-Q graphic card, so it is going to be a full performance GTX 1050 Ti. So other than that, there is also a small little difference where the ZenBook Pro 14 that we saw before uses kind of like a Face ID to get the laptop unlocked, whereas the 15-inch one has a fingerprint sensor on the right side of the touchpad. In addition to that, the ZenBook Pro 14 comes with a Full HD display, whereas the ZenBook Pro 15 comes with a very nice 4K UHD display. Other than that, it also has a few Thunderbolt 3 ports, which is not found on the ZenBook Pro 14. So guys, there you have it. That is the ASUS ZenBook Pro 14 and 15. Now, the company has mentioned that these laptops will be available in Q3, which is the third quarter of 2018. Sadly, we do not have the pricing for these laptops, but stay tuned to KL Gadget Guy and KL Gadget TV, as we will update you as the price comes out. So with that, guys, I hope you like this video. If you do give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not, because we are in Taiwan and we are taking out a lot of content about all the things that are happening in Computex 2018. And with that, guys, I will see you in the next video.